Hey, what's going on, everyone? Axel here. Welcome to episode 2 of the walkthrough and guide for new players. If you didn't see the last episode, which is episode 1, we went through Korthos and also character creation. So in this series, I'm playing through the game on a fresh free-to-play account. No auction house, no store, no nothing. Just the complete new player experience. As I go through here, I'm going to explain and hopefully teach new players some things they need to know. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm a vet of DDO. I've been playing since 2008, 2009. And I've been doing YouTube content for about 10 years on for DDO on YouTube. So let's just continue on. You guys, I wasn't sure if I was going to continue this series, but you all asked for it, and you all seem to like it. So as long as this series is getting pretty good views, maybe 1,000 or so, I don't know, I'll keep doing it. As long as people are watching it, we'll keep going here. So Harbor, we just got out of Korthos. The exit of Korthos was over here, and this is where everyone starts. Once you get out of... So Korthos is kind of the hand-holding area of the game. The game opens a little bit more here. So you can go to other places. At this point, you can go to the market, all the different houses, which will, if the series continues, we'll get to those later. But for now, the place you want to start as a free-to-play player is the harbor. So there are a variety, and here's the map. There are a variety of level 2 quests available here. You've got a lot, and all these yellow exclamation marks on the map are quests you can enter. So the red doors, the red ones, those are ones we don't own because this is a free-to-play account. So, but there is a ton of free-to-play content to explore here in the harbor. So let's go ahead and start. There's actually a interesting little thing here with one of the NPCs as you walk up. One of the guards here, it's not this one, it's this guy. You can actually get a free 500 XP, I believe it is, if you can meet one of these skill checks, which unfortunately I just checked before I started the video. I don't have 5 haggle, but if you later when we get 5 haggle, we can come back and talk to this guy and get a free little tiny bit of XP. It's not a big deal. It's just 500 XP. On the left here, as you go through, this is the Gatekeeper's Grove. I guess I'll pop in just to show you, but there is no content here, which is free to play. As you can see, all the exclamation marks here are red. But yeah, this is somewhere where you can go in later. There are level 3 quests if you own them, the Gatekeeper's Chain, but it is not free, which you can play. And there's entrances to all kinds of other quests and areas as well. They actually just redid the Gatekeeper's Grove recently and tidied it up a bit. So the first thing you'll do is you'll walk around the dock, and the game really wants you to start here, so we will as well. Now, one important thing to note is there are a variety of bags that you can get for your character. So there are collectible bags, there are ingredient bags, and then there are gem bags. There's also augment bags you get later, but for starting out, you can get those 3 bags. You can get 3 of them for free. Now they're small, not nearly as good as what you can get in the store, but they are free. So we're going to talk to Baudry here for the first quest, and he gives us a small collectible bag. So what you want to do right when you get this bag is you open it up, click auto gather, and automatically it'll put collectibles you pick up in quests in this bag. So make sure you keep that handy. Now, the other ones we'll get to, I don't think I'll run up there quite yet, but we'll get a little later in this video, we'll get to the other 2 bags. There's also in the 12 area, which we'll do a little bit of a run to get to, you can get an extra bag, which I believe is a small ingredients bag, but we'll get to that a little later. But for now, Baudry prompts us to go to Tamber Schmythe up here for our first quest in this area. Now, the game does still kind of holding your hand a little bit. You normally don't get these prompts that tell you exactly where to go. Normally you want to just open your map, and once you talk to an NPC like that, the little check mark here will start blinking. It'll tell you where you need to go. So let's run up here, and we actually have 1 enhancement point to spend. So let's go ahead and do that before we continue on. I think I'll go with Divine. I think I might just go, because I've been any of these, I mean, it's really up to you. Strike through is good. I think I'm going to go with better action boost, though, for better burst TPS, which actually, let's see. Okay. Yeah, we're good. All right. Well, we also have we have some mail, which is probably, actually, it's probably points from last time. We also have our daily dice roll. Let's see if we get anything that's any good. We got 200 experience points, so we didn't get a very good roll. So we'll go ahead and take those 200 XP now. But yeah, let's get a Baudry Cardamom. So this is, and actually there's a mailbox. We can go check our mail here. which is just points. So for every 100 favor, and this tells you, for every 100 favor you get in the game, you get 25 DDO points. So that's the mechanism of the game being free to play. As you play the game, you earn points, and you can eventually buy yourself some content in the DDO store, so you can expand beyond the free to play. So yeah. And there's also a bonus for your first, I believe it's 400 favor on a server. You get a little extra bonus points on top of what you'd normally get. But okay, Baudry's Interest, our first quest. So this quest is another, it's similar to the Caneth Crystal. What we're going to do here is we're going to defend a crate. So in Caneth Crystal, we're defending a crystal. In this one, we're going to defend this box here. So it's not really too much to do in the quest. Now, I will say on higher difficulties, if you're not paying attention, they can break this box. So you need to be aware if kobolds are attacking this crate. You shouldn't just run out here and just be completely oblivious to it. Now, some of them will be stealthed, so you may not be able to see some of them. By the way, I hope in this video, you may not have noticed, but in the first episode, the gameplay was a little blurry at spots, which was due to my internet. I'm having a lot of internet issues right now. I actually had my internet service provider out here this past week trying to fix my internet issues. It's some kind of wall cable in my wall that's bad. So hopefully it looks fine today. I think it will. It didn't exactly look bad last time either. Just could have looked a little better. So there are treasure bags which you can pick up. Those give you collectibles that go in our new bag we got here. This is definitely one of those quests that's probably a little bit easier to group, but it's perfectly fine solo, especially on normal, which is what we're doing quests on, because that's what we're limited to as a free-to-play player. I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about the box, getting destroyed. So on normal, the monsters do less damage. One thing that you can do if you're in a group, if one person wants to kind of run around the edges and break breakables so that you can get that breakables bonus we talked about, it's not a bad idea. Lots of treasure bags. Lots of kobolds. That's one theme you'll see as we play through the harbor. There are tons of kobolds. Most all of these quests feature kobolds. Now, the game does venture out later, and I know when new players start, this one thing they notice is that, like, oh my god, is this kobolds and dragons online? No, it does branch out a lot. But, I guess it's a callback to pen and paper. You'll see things at low levels, like a lot of rats and kobolds and ogres and goblins. Well, not goblins, but hobgoblins, I meant to say. Although goblins they did add later. But you'll see a lot of monsters like that, but it does branch out later. As the game continues, we'll see all kinds of monsters. They are adding new monsters every year, and there's a lot of different monsters in DDO. So we're taking some damage here. I have one lay on hands. Really what you should be doing as a new player, I actually have one in my inventory I could have summoned, but you should be using highly recommend using a hireling, a cleric hireling. We talked about that a little bit, but it's one thing that I don't think the game highlights quite enough, and they've tried to highlight it more by putting one in your inventory. I think they put one in your inventory to start, but you really, as a new player, especially if you're soloing and playing a class, say like Paladin, which Paladin does get good self-healing, but not immediately. Like right now, I only have one lay on hands and I don't have any spells. But if you're playing a class like Barbarian or Fighter or even like Sorcerer, who doesn't really get a lot of self-healing, you really should have a hireling with you that's going to just follow you around and heal you. So I actually got hit with fear there, which fear can prevent you from attacking sometimes. So we're getting a little low. We're going to use our lay on hands there. Quest is almost over. We got 5 more seconds. It's one of these, wait until the timer counts down. When it gets to 0, quest is over. So this box here, actually, as it takes more damage, it'll actually break down visually. So because we are on normal, you didn't really see that. And it's funny, this quest right when it's over, it actually ties up all the kobolds, I guess, so you can get out safely. So let's loot our chest. I am looking for... I need a one-handed weapon, actually, for Stealthy Repossession. So I'm hoping we pull something that I can use. Stealthy Repo is the most difficult quest in the harbor. And it actually requires you to not kill a certain amount of one enemy. So hopefully we get a... so you can't really use a two-handed fighting weapon, because if you do that, you'll get strike through, which hits enemies that are around you. So, all right. So, done with that quest. So now we're going on to part 2. There's a whole chain with these Baudry quests. All right, so part 2. This quest, I was wondering if this, yeah, this is the one where what we want to do here is we want to, and I'll go ahead just to show you guys how they work. I'll summon the cleric hireling too. We still have our Byron, which is not expired, but it's going to expire after this quest. So every hireling lasts an hour, but you can always just buy more. So in this quest, this is all about breaking breakables. So there's boxes, and we have to destroy 50 of them. Some of them are on top of, require a little bit of platforming. This is really one of the first quests in the game where you have to do a little bit of platforming. But look around you. Another quest that I would say is a little bit easier to do in a group, just because you can split up and break things faster, but it's perfectly fine solo. As far as I know, they give you extra crates here, so there's not exactly 50 to break, so you can miss some and it's fine. There is a time limit. Now, that's a mechanic DDO's definitely gone away from. In this quest, you have 10 minutes to finish or you fail. They've really gone away from that. They basically never do that anymore in DDO. Just don't see that. It's a mechanic I don't think players like very much. So this hireling, Dryad, I bought her in Korthos. I believe there is a hireling vendor. There should be one in the harbor somewhere. If not, you can just go back to Korthos to get a hireling. Okay, let's see. Let's go in this room. There's a few different paths you can take in this quest, but generally, you know, just look at your map. Anywhere you haven't been before, go there, look for crates. Not really too much to say. But I do like in DDO how they do mix it up a little bit when you start. So that not every quest... You know, they have you doing different things, right? I think that's pretty cool. Now there is a trap. I believe it is up here. I think it's up that ramp from what I remember. So one thing you can do with hirelings, by the way, sometimes if you don't really like them following you, what you can do is you can use this first button here, which is, well, let me pull it over. This right there, it has them stand in place, it will have them literally stay in one spot. So what I like doing sometimes is, if you don't like them following you around, or if it's just you're playing on a difficulty where if they follow you around they're going to die, what you can do is just park them or just have them stand their ground at the beginning of the quest. And if you need them for heal, you can just call them over. You can actually use this button, which gets them to teleport directly to your location. So it's one option. Also, a good thing to do is, even if you don't really need the healing, it's never a bad idea. Since hirelings are so cheap, it's never a bad idea to just have one anyway and summon it and park it or leave it at the beginning of the quest. Because if you die, you can call the hireling to you even when you're dead to raise you from the dead. So that's really nice. So we actually, that crate, so this is one thing I was talking about in the last episode. It's always good to have some kind of throwing weapon, even on a melee, because we can't easily reach that crate. But we have a throwing weapon, right? So we can just break it with the throwing weapon. There are some spots in game where you will have to have range. Not very many, but there's a few where you will have, there might be an enemy you have to kill. So there we go, we completed the quest. There's all our crates. There may be an enemy you have to kill that's standing on a box you can't reach in melee, right? Or is across a ravine that you have to kill before, say, a bridge comes down or something. So you always want to have a thrower on you, but just in case. There's actually a few spots, like I know Twilight, the Twilight Forge pack, actually it's called Restless Isles. To get to one of the quests, you actually have to kill an enemy that's on a rock, on a high rock. So if you don't have a thrower, you just can't get there. So you always have a thrower, and it's better to have. So someone commented in the last video, why not use a bow, right? So actually, I can show you why. So for this build, since we're strength based, if you can see on the pop up here, and I'll just equip it so you can see it easier. So the attack and damage for a thrower, for this thrower, is attack mod to dex. So that calculates your to hit. So if your throw actually makes contact. The damage mod is based on strength, which we're a strength-based character, so a thrower for us is a better idea than, say, like, for example, this crossbow, where it's going to be based on dex. And actually, let's see, attack mod. It actually doesn't show up on this crossbow as far as I can tell. But I know for a regular bow, it has attack and damage to dex, and I believe that's the same for crossbows as well. But anyways, that's why I'm using a thrower on the melee instead of like, plus it's easier to have a thrower because you don't have to worry about carrying ammunition as well and that running out. And this thrower in particular that I found is a limited one, so it's 98 throwing axes, but very common in game. You can get a returning thrower, which gives you infinite thrower ammo. So you don't really have to, on a melee build where you can't summon ammunition like, say, you could an artificer. It's just easier and better to have a thrower. It usually does more damage. So, all right. So that quest is done. So that's the second part of the Baudry Cardman chain. And we got one more part. We are almost to another action point here. So you can tell if you look on the bottom of the screen where my mouse is here, see these little bubbles. As these fill up for the first 4 of each level, once they fill up, you get a additional action point. And the 5th one, when that fills up, you're to your next level. You also get a little icon, as you probably saw before, that pops up on your top left here when you get an action point. All right, and one thing I actually want to show you. Okay, so our Cleric Hireling, you can see the expiry on here expires in 54 minutes. So that does count down whether or not you have it summoned. Once you summon, the clock starts ticking, but it only ticks down when you're in quests or wilderness areas. It does not tick down when you're in public areas, but just be aware of that. So we're going to go ahead and use I just forgot to use my Expeditious Retreat clicky. Okay, this one is this is a more traditional quest. We're basically going to just get to the end and get this Coin Lord container. So no breaking barrels or anything, even though this is in a very similar map. Now, you can collect collectibles as you go, I find they're now for Caneth crafting, some are really valuable, but in general, what those are used for is there's different collectible vendors throughout the game, and once you get a certain amount of collectibles, you can turn them in for, like, say, a potion, some potions, or some other things. So I generally don't find them too useful, but if you may as well collect them. Some are useful though. It's really just depends on what you're picking up. But crafting is where I typically see it highlighted. So I guess getting into crafting, so there's a section of this game called Caneth Crafting, which is completely optional. You don't have to do it. You can craft some nice loot for sure, particularly flex loot and leveling loot, which is really good. But just be aware, it's not required. But Caneth crafting is kind of the big crafting system that spawns a variety of level ranges. There are other crafting systems, lots of other crafting systems in the game, but the majority of other crafting systems are part of a specific adventure pack or a specific expansion. Like, for example, the Isle of Dread expansion that came out in, I believe it was 2022. It has dinosaur bone crafting, but that is tied to that expansion. So you get the weapons and gear to craft in the Isle of Dread expansion, and you get the ingredients in the Isle of Dread expansion. Whereas Caneth crafting kind of covers a variety of level ranges, whereas other crafting systems are more specific. So what we're trying to do here, so here's a collectible, and those are going directly into that bag. Assuming you clicked auto gather, which I showed you how to do before. Click this box. So we got a few here. Okay, so here is, see an orange name right here? That means it is a mini boss. Bosses, particularly red names in this game, you'll notice they're a little tougher. They may be resistant to certain spells like crowd control or insta-death spells. But if it has a different colored name, it's a mini boss. All right, we got something. Okay, Boots of the Long Step. So that gives us a static, and we actually got a battle axe. Good. Ooh, it's a 15 speed. Good. So we're going to use this battle axe in Stealthy Repo when we get there. Stealthy Repossession. So this gives us striding plus 5%. So what this is a static 5% bonus to your run speed. I'm not going to use it. Well, I can go ahead and equip it for now, actually, but I'm going to be using this clicky, which is the Expeditious Retreat clicky on the Anger's Step boots we got from Korthos. So the Expeditious Retreat clickies give us 25% run speed increase, and that's not going to stack with the Boots of the Long Step. Okay, so I don't really need these boots, but we'll go ahead and just equip them. What we'll do is we'll equip them. We'll go ahead and honestly, we really should be using... Now that I think about it, we probably should be using these winter boots from Korthos, because that at least gives us 3% cold resistance. So actually, we're going to do that. So what we can do is just put those on a hotbar, and I'm actually going to put it down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our two boots on the hotbar. One is the one with the clicky on it, and the other one is the cold resist boots. And what we're going to do is we're just going to be wearing the cold resist boots while our clicky is running, which it's almost up, has 30 seconds left. When we need to use another charge, we're going to switch back to those boots, use our clicky, and then swap back so that we can get the speed bonus and the 3% or 3 cold DR as well at the same time. Because clickies, like these boots here, I don't know if I explained that earlier, you click them and use them like a spell, so you don't have to have them equipped to get their effect. Once you cast that spell, that's it. You have that effect for the duration. You don't have to leave them on. All right, so we got a lever to pull up here. And then we can actually collect this. Actually, we actually didn't need... I think that lever was to that chest over there. So this actually ends the quest. This is the item we were looking for. Then we can go over here to get a chest, which I guess we'll go ahead and do. And I don't remember. I believe there's a trap up here. I could be wrong. Nope, there's... Oh, yeah, there is. Okay. Well, we're on normal, so it's not going to hurt us, so we're going to go ahead and... Yeah, see. Because I was on normal, I was fine, but if you were on elite, that would have killed you. But I went ahead and looted it, because I knew on normal I wasn't going to die. It was just going to do a little bit of damage. But be careful. If not... But normal, you get a lot of leeway on normal. All right, so that's it for that chain. So one thing you can do in the harbor, when you start here, you just work your way clockwise around the harbor. You can run and get your bags first and come back, but I don't see that as necessary. Okay, so let's look and see what we got. So we got, as far as rewards, we got... And you will get a reward list like this normally after every quest. The ones in Korthos you see are a little different because in Korthos you get specific items on your list, but typically the quest reward list looks like this and you'll get a selection of random loot. So let's take a look, especially when you're new. Some of these will benefit you. So we got, that one's okay, PRR and Death Block. So Death Block is very, very, very important. Not quite yet, but when you get a little bit higher in level, you will get, you will need to have Death Block on because Death Block makes you immune to insta-death spells. If you don't have a Death Block item, even if you have really good saves like we're going to have on a Paladin, if you roll a 1, so the way DDO works is there's a D20 system, and every time you would do an attack or get hit, you roll a D20. And if you roll a 1, which is 5% chance to roll a 1, you automatically fail. So no matter what your saves are, if you roll a 1, you're just going to die if you don't have a Death Block item. But if you have that Death Block item, then you'll be fine. So let's see what we got. Actually, we got Fortification, which is good. Now, Fortification is another thing. You want to get up to 100% fort as soon as you can because what Fortification does, and I'll link below in the description. I did a whole video on the a whole beginner's guide on the character sheet where I explain what all this stuff is. I'll link that below in the description if you want to check it out. So I'll try not to be too long-winded here, but basically Fortification which it gives you resistance to being critically hit, which is like taking extra damage on a hit from a monster. So if you get to 100%, you become immune to critical hits. So you want to get to 100% as soon as you can. Now, there are certain monsters later in the game that can strip your fortification or ignore it, but especially at low levels, you know, as long as you get that, you'll be fine. So what I'm actually going to do, so there's a couple good options. Death Block we don't need quite yet, and we're going to see a lot of Death Block items as we level. So what I'm actually going to do here is I want to take either the... I'm going to take either the electric absorption because there's, particularly when we get to waterworks, there's going to be a lot of electric spells cast at us. So 12% electric absorb lets us absorb 12% of that damage and not take it. So I think I'm actually going to go, there's also electric resistance for, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this one, and then we can't wear it yet because we're not level 3, but we're going to be level 3 here pretty soon. So I'm going to take this one, has electric absorb and death block on it. So we can use that. That'll be pretty nice. All right. Let's continue on. All right. Next, actually, you know, the tavern's actually flashing. I'm not quite sure why it's flashing. Let's check out the tavern and see why it's flashing. I think it just is going to prompt us to, let's see. Oh, it's just, okay. Gotcha. Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and repair. I think it was just prompting us for story reasons. Okay, we're going to sell some stuff here. We're going to keep that. We can get rid of this. Okay. You know, I just realized something. Take back what I said on the boots. I forgot those boots were part of a set bonus. We actually should be wearing those at all times because it has Anger's Wrath on it, which gives us +2 to hit. My fault. That was my mistake. I totally forgot about that set bonus. We should be wearing these boots at all times and not the winter ones from Korthos. Okay, so we're going to go over right here. And this guy is going to give us Fitzpat, he's going to give us another bag. So he gives us a gem bag, which, as I talked about before, gems are things you just pick up in chests and you just sell them for money. So this is our next quest, which is Smuggler's Warehouse. Okay, so this one is a little different. So in this quest, what we're going to do is we have to obtain 10 Smuggler's Gems. We're actually going to have our Howling cast Bless on us, which gives us a little extra to hit. So what we got to do is obtain 10 Smuggler's Gems. So in this quest, it's more about breaking stuff. So those Smuggler's Gems, they are located in barrels. So when you see a barrel, you want to break it. We actually don't have to break the crates because they are in barrels and not the boxes. So another quest that's more about this one's more about finding things. Okay, so we can't go through there quite yet. I think it's just because we didn't kill that kobold. Okay, no. I don't run these too often. So my fault if I get something wrong, but I think it is because yeah, I remember. We've got 2 levers up here, my bad. Because I have been running through, because I'm more of a level 15 to level 34 in cap player, so I don't run these quests all that often. So I have been running, before I do these videos, I've been running these quests through on like above level on my main just to refresh my memory for you guys, so I don't so I'm actually going to pick that up because we can sell that. But I just want to have a refresh memory for you guys. So we did have a lever up there that we need to pull in order to get through that gate. Now there are gates in this game that are just locked. You need to have the pick lock skill. Get into them. So hopefully we don't miss, because you can sometimes miss. I don't know if there's any extra. So there was a ruby, but you can miss a barrel with a ruby in it and end up backtracking a little bit in this quest. So hopefully that doesn't happen to us. I'll do my best to pay attention and not autopilot too much here. But like I was saying, barrels are what you need to break. You don't need to break the boxes, just the barrels. Now you can break the boxes to get your Breakables XP bonus, but it's not required. Okay, and I actually should be using my clicky. Sometimes you gotta look. Sometimes there'll be barrels that'll be on top of boxes. Like there's one over there we should get to and check out. Yep, see there's a ruby. It's another one. We got, what, 6 left? So we got a prompt there. You will get that sometimes. So our spot skill was high enough to see a secret door, though we didn't have a high enough search to find it there. And I do believe yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just there's a chest back there if we can find it. Now these things are based on the D20 system, the search, right? So if you don't find it the first time, maybe you just had a low roll and you can try a few more times. It's not like if you don't have quite enough search, you may end up finding it on your second or third attempt. If you don't have enough search for it to be no fail. Okay. Let's keep going. We got a few more places to look. Be wary also. I don't think it's the case here, but sometimes events like that will be traps. And pretty sure there's a trap here. Yeah, our hireling senses. So, yeah, right there. I think in this case, see, like I was saying, sometimes they design these things to get around. There is a trap, but if you run right down the middle, you'll be fine. If you run down the sides, you're going to get hit. But you can run straight down the middle and be fine. It's a theme you'll see in DDO. Traps are usually made with, it's very nice to have a rogue or an dark hunter or an artificer to disable them for you, but there's almost, not always, but there's usually a way around it without having one. And a big draw for having that trapper as well is you get that extra XP bonus if you disable a certain amount of traps in a class. That's the other thing that DDO does to incentivize you to have a trapper, or to at least reward that playstyle a little bit more. Okay, so we got what? 3 gems left. Still looking out. We got 1 more, so we got 2 more. Still looking out for these rubies. Don't need to break the crates. Here's 2 more. Yeah, really got to pay attention, because these things can... I remember being a new player in this quest and running around this quest for quite a while because I missed a barrel. They can be hidden in little nooks and crannies here, so pay attention. But we got 1 more left, and should be in this room. Another collectible. Nope, those are not the gems we need. Not there either. Okay. Another trap. See, another trap right there. We ran through it, so that's another example. We ran through it before it triggered. So sometimes being fast can get you to avoid traps as well. I don't know if that's intentional game design or if it's just it took a while for the game to recognize we were in the spot for the trap to fire. Okay, still haven't found our last gem. Last one's being a little elusive. Got a few more rooms to search though. It should be in one of these. And I actually haven't been using my... I really should be using my Smite Evils and my action boost more. So there we go. There's our last one. That's it for that quest. Nice. There's actually a lever here. I think this might lead... I think this just lead... No, it's just... Okay, so this actually does lead to this optional. So this is an example of an optional in DDO. Oh gosh, we actually got hypnotized there. It's a very trippy looking effect. Actually gave us enough for a level, so I'm glad I did that. Yeah, that's an example of an optional. So you might have a... It's very common to see this in DDO. There's a mini boss, optional. Open a room, you get a mini boss, and then if you kill it, you get a little XP for the optional, and you get an extra chest. So we got what? Nimble of Intimidate. So we get a little dex. The other main thing I'm looking out for is a wisdom item. So I explained this before, but on this build, we started out with 10 wisdom, which is what we still have, and the requirements to cast a spell in DDO is 10 plus the spell's level. So to cast our level 1 paladin spells, which we get at level 4 paladin, we need 11 wisdom. So now, as a new player, in this series, I'm not going to use the auction house, but it's very easy to get one of those items by going to the auction house. When we get there, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see if any of this stuff we can use. Not really. Go ahead and take... I'll take this mace, I guess. Okay, so we are actually high enough level to where we can... yeah, we got enough XP to take level 3. Yeah, so let's take level 3. So here's your trainers. We got to find the paladin trainer, which, to be honest, I'm not sure where it is here. These trainers are not in every area of the game, but a lot of areas. But one thing I wish I would have talked a little bit more about trainers is each class has its own trainers. So say we wanted to multi-class into, say, a paladin and take a fighter level, we would have to talk to the fighter trainer. But because we're going to take paladin levels, we have to talk to the paladin trainer. I guess it's a little easier. I don't know why they did that, but instead of having one trainer where everyone takes their levels, it's more, here's the paladin trainer. They do have one for each class. I've always loved some of the cosmetics for NPCs. I think that's an awesome cosmetic. I would actually really like to wear that. Anyways, okay, paladin. So advance to the next level. All right, so this level we're going to take heal, UMD, and then we're going to take Level 3, we're going to take, finally we're going to get Stunning Blow, so I get to show you how that works. So Stunning Blow, where are you? Stunning Blow, there we go. So Stunning Blow is a really fun active attack. So when we get Stunning Blow, we need to go to our feats. We need to go to Stunning Blow, pull it down to a hotbar. So now we have 2 attacks we can be using. I haven't been using them too much, frankly, because we've kind of been killing, we're on normal and we kind of been killing stuff really quick anyway, but I will show you a little bit more about how Stunning Blow works. And I really, for instructional reasons, I really should be using more actives. We actually also have some action points to spend. So I'm going to go ahead and take, I think we take, let's see, Sacred Bonus to saves. Yeah, you get +1 to hit and imbue dice. So we actually are not benefiting from imbue dice quite yet. So this cleave would actually be kind of nice. Do I want to take this yet? Because normally you would always take the core, but we actually don't. We can't benefit from our imbue dice quite yet. Actually, no, we can, I think. Damage. Yeah, okay, actually we cannot, because as far as I know we cannot, because our imbue toggle is based on favored weapons, and we don't get favored weapons as for the weapon we want, which is a two-handed fighting greatsword, up until this enhancement. So we're not going to be able to benefit from that. So we're going to go ahead and take, I guess we're going to go ahead and take more of this. But it really doesn't matter. I mean, since I'm not using them as much, I could just take strike through. But you know what, I might just take strike through. But really, whatever you want to take here, whatever you prefer. If you want to click this, you don't feel like when you level, you have to take these exact things and be super, super efficient. Just especially as a new player, be kind of nonchalant about it. Just take what you think is interesting. Now, I did mark in the build, so go to the, I'll link it below again, I guess, the build for this character. If you want to follow what I'm doing, I do have a specific build you can find, but I would take the enhancements I recommended, but you can take them in whatever order you want to. So what strike through does is it makes it so the higher strike through we get is the more often our strike through attacks proc. So a strike through is hitting an enemy that might be beside you but isn't directly in front of you, and that only works with two-handed fighting weapons. And then there's some hand and a half weapons like Bastard Sword where it can work, but for the most part it's a two-handed fighting thing. So yeah, that's what we're taking for now. Okay, so I guess I can show you here. This is an example of a collector, so you can actually trade in the collectibles that we're finding for stuff. And we don't have, it looks like we don't have enough yet, but let's see, do we have enough of anything? So we're almost there, actually. We got 2 sweet whitecaps. If we got 3 of these collectibles, we can turn in for a healing elixir. We've got, if we can get 2 of these, we can turn in for this. You can even get a random augment for a bunch more collectibles. So this is basically what collectibles are. You can turn them in for potions and things. It's not, I wouldn't say it's very commonly used. It's more of a thing used for crafting, mainly. All right, so we are at level 3. So we can go ahead and equip some of our level 3 stuff we got. So we got this, which is going to give us Death Block and Electric Absorb. So I think I might rather have that. So the armor we have on gives us Devotion, which increases our healing spells. The amount our healing spells will heal, but we don't have those yet because we're only Paladin level 3. We don't get those until Paladin level 4. Insightful Combat Mastery does increase the DC of our Stunning Blow, but I think considering we're running on normal, we won't really need that. I would rather just have the Death Block and mainly the Electric Absorb, because Electric Absorb is really good, because especially in Waterworks, there's kobolds that cast some really nasty lightning bolt spells. So if you can get something with Electric Absorb on it, it can be quite nice. All right, so let's talk to Guard Jung here. So this is Kobolds New Ringleader, a really nice quest to do. I actually like the look of this armor a lot better than the one we had on. This is a really good this is a good XP run, by the way. This is also one of the quests that they made a Halloweenized version of for the currently running Halloween event in DDO, which is called Night Revels. The one where we smashed a bunch of crates, they also made a Halloweenized version of that, which means they basically put a bunch of Halloween decorations of it and change the quest slightly. Okay, one thing in this quest you want to make sure you do is don't break this crate right here, this big one, because you can actually I had auto attack on. Let me try that again. Sorry, guys. Auto attack actually had that kobold. That kobold jumped up there, and my auto attack hit him, and it caused me to hit the crate. So we're actually going to reset this. So what I was trying to say... So actually, it's kind of instructional because I can show you how to reset quests, right? If you ever want to reset a quest, you just open it again. Instead of re-entering, if you re-enter, you actually take an XP penalty. But you can actually hit the reset button just to reset. Only the party leader can do that, though. So if you have to be grouping, the party leader has to do it. All right, let's actually pull our hireling. And then I'll show you how to not break this crate. That's funny. I was like, don't break this crate. Then I immediately broke it. But that kobold kind of screwed me over a bit. So what you can do here is don't break this big crate, because you can do this and jump on it and jump over, and you can kind of skip a good portion of the quest. If you don't do that, you have to go right here and go around, which just takes a little bit longer. So this is just a quicker way to do the quest, because you don't actually have to go through these you don't have to go left and right at the very beginning there. Yeah, watch out. I'm being a little nonchalant about it because we are on normal, but some of these explosive barrels can really hurt. So be careful that you aren't breaking those when you're, really close to it. If you want, you can take them out with a thrower, or a long-range weapon or a spell if you're a caster. I really shouldn't be doing that, but being on normal, I'm being a little bit careless. Because I know I can get away with being careless. If you do want to repeat dungeons, this is a good one to repeat. Also, Durk's Got a Secret is a good one to repeat because there's a really nice weapon that you can get there called a Muckbane, which is going to be really nice for you to... here's another optional, by the way, which is really nice for oozes when we get to those. So I think this and probably Durk's are good ones to repeat. If you want to repeat quests. I don't plan on repeating any quests in this series, though. Unless I have to. I mean, if it continues on, I'll have to at some point. So we've got another weapon there. We've got some more throwing weapons. So this is the first weapon we've seen that has an augment slot. So you see this has a red augment slot. What that is you can get augments, and there's tons of different types of augments, and you can actually slot them into this piece of gear. So this appears commonly on named items throughout the game. But if you get an augment, you can actually put it, and I'll actually show you real quick. We don't have any augments, but I'll show you how that works. So if you want to put an augment into a weapon, you just drag it over. Actually, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. You drag it over to this little green box, which is augment items. So just take the item, drag it to that green box, it pops up this window, and then from here, you get your augment from your bag, drag it onto the slot. So this is not an augment, but say these boots were an augment, you just do that. Drag it onto the slot, and you can slot your ability. And your ability could be like a little extra damage. It could be, if I happen to pick up an augment, I'll use it. But it could be a lot of different things. A little bit of spell power. It could be a DC. Got some more boots with jump on them. Yeah, it can be a lot of things. And I should probably pay a little bit more attention to some of these. Do I want to use any of these? No, not quite yet. Do we have anything we want to use? Gloves. We can actually put these gloves on. It gives us +2 dexterity, +3 intimidate. Dexterity's always good. Gives us an extra reflex save. Not that we really care too much about dexterity, but most builds want to get a little bit of dex at least, so you can have good reflex saves. Because reflex is, in my opinion, the most important of all the saves, because reflex saves determine are used a lot. So there's actually an optional up here. Should I do this? I guess I'll do it. There's a bunch of spiders up here, but reflex save is very common because a lot of damage spells use a reflex save. So if you have high enough reflex save from a lot of spells in the game, will do, instead of doing full damage to you, say like Fireball, for example. If you have high enough reflex save and you save against it, it'll give you, you'll get half damage instead of full damage. So this is one example of, I guess I'll do it, but it's one of these optionals where it's not really worth doing. Where is it? There should be one more spider somewhere. Oh, I'm sorry. It's right here. There we go. kill the spiders, get that 62 XP. That's why I was saying last video that optionals aren't really worth it most of the time. Sometimes they are. I just kind of did that one just for fun, and I find myself as a player doing that sometimes. I'm not like, I'm a little bit of a min-maxer, and I do play this game on I usually play it on a higher difficulty. Like, so I talked before last time, the difficulties range from normal, actually casual, and I think last video I said 13 difficulties. There's actually 14 for most content. So most content, you have casual, normal, hard, elite, and then Reaper skulls 1 through 10, with each skull being more difficult. So I usually play, when I'm playing an in-game, I usually play like anywhere from R4 to R6, but sometimes I will go to R10s and play those, or R8s. Just depends on the group, really. So this is one mechanic, but anyways, this is one mechanic you'll see. See these two runes? Each were, when we pulled those levers in there were 2 levers, one to the left and one to the right of this map. And once we pulled them both, they lit up the rune here and let us go forward through this door, which opened up. So we got a fire trap here. This fire trap can be pretty deadly on higher difficulties, so watch out for that if you are running on, you know, harder elite. So we got, I think that was another, if we get enough, I'll go ahead and turn the collectibles in if we can. If I get enough. Me intentionally damaging myself more. See, this is one of these. So the way the breakables, and we'll go ahead and, I should be pretty close to a bonus, so we'll go ahead and break these, see if I get there. But you can always check where you're at by opening this score sheet. You see it ticked up from 81, 82, 83. This is one of those quests where there is a lot of breakables, and the way the breakables bonus works is it's based on not a flat number of ones you break, but a percentage. So if you have a, let me kill this guy. There's actually an ogre that jumps out here. Depending on how many there are, like it can, basically the more there are, the harder it is to get the bonus because it's based on a percentage. So we've broken 95, and we've yet to even, and we haven't even gotten any yet in terms of any bonuses, which I don't think we did. Yeah, so we kind of wasted our time breaking 95 breakables, and we didn't get anything for it. But it's one of those quests where it's definitely harder to get that bonus. One thing you notice is that was a really nice XP run. I mean, for normal, we got, what, 2,200 XP. Pretty nice. So if you do want to run some more for XP, you can. But you don't need to, I don't think. I don't think we'll have a problem. Did I pick up anything nice there, actually? Got in just a light armor. Okay. All right. Let's continue on. We're almost to Stealthy Repossession, which is going to be fun. Stealthy Repo is one where you might want to just skip, but we'll talk more about that when we get to it. I'm not sure if it's next or not, but we're going to go around in clockwise order here. Ooh, we got another Great Axe. Swift 15, a Great Axe, a Double Strike 1. It's nice to get the speed bonus, but let's see. We don't really need the speed bonus because we have those boots, so I might take something else, although there's nothing else that's really compelling, so I guess we'll go ahead and take it. All right. Who is next? Okay, so we are to Stealthy Repossession next. So, Stealthy Repossession, this is a outlier quest. In this quest, we have to get to the end and not kill Kobold prophets. So because there are certain monsters we cannot kill, we have to abandon our single weapon here, our two-handed weapon, and go for a single weapon here, single-handed weapon, because if we use a two-handed weapon, we're going to get that strike through, which is going to hit enemies around us. So we will inadvertently kill Kobold prophets, which we cannot do in this quest. So we're going to use, I think our best single-handed weapon is actually this, yeah, probably, I guess this mace. So yeah, because it has electrifying, and it's feeding on it, which is pretty nice actually. Temporary HP. So, and negative levels. It's kind of cool. So we're gonna be using this mace throughout. So for this quest, if you do it, take off auto attack as well, and if you're a caster, make sure you don't use anything but single target spells. We're gonna want to also park our hireling. I'm gonna go ahead and summon her in case we need her, but definitely don't want to use Byron here. Byron, who's the Warforged Barbarian hireling from Korthos. So one other thing with hirelings to note is with these ones you buy for platinum, you can only use one at a time. You cannot summon two of them. But if you buy ones from the store that are gold seal, you can use those in addition to these. So you can have two. There's also hirelings that you can buy in like expansions and things. And those you can bring out regardless of how many other hirelings are in your party. Okay, so this quest, you notice if you kill, you need to kill fewer than 6 kobold prophets to not fail the quest. So see this guy? He said he's named Kobold Prophet. You cannot kill this guy. You can kill all the other ones. It's really good, but you got to be really careful. So those are prophets. We can't kill them. We can kill this shaman. So you do want to kill some monsters as you go here, because if you don't, it's going to build up the dungeon alert, which I don't think I've talked about dungeon alert yet. But a dungeon alert is the system in DDO that kind of forces you to kill monsters. So if you don't kill monsters, you will slowly build up dungeon alert, which the higher dungeon alert you get, the more dangerous monsters get. It's kind of the mechanism in the game to get you to kill stuff. Oh, and I accidentally killed some prophets there, I think. Yeah, I killed one. That's okay. You can kill a few. Just don't kill too many. But honestly, this quest is an outlier. There are not very many quests like this. So I know this is a really difficult one that players face. So if you want to skip this quest, feel free. You don't have to do it. But I figured for this video series, I would go ahead and do it. Just because I think I'm gonna do every single free-to-play quest if this series continues. So what we got here? Do we have any? Because I don't run these that much, so apologies if I'm not, running in the most efficient manner through these quests. Yeah, so we can now get through because we pulled the green. Go through here to the end. So there's actually a gem we need to get, the worthless gem. So one kind of running joke with kobolds is they're always in DDOs. They're always looking for the shinies. They're obsessed with crystals and gems and things like that. Actually, don't know if we have to get through this door or not. It can be kind of difficult. See, I think yeah. There's one kobold there we can kill. Sometimes they will. There is a loading bar for doors, so you may find yourself, having difficulty getting through a door because enemies are hitting you. But if you want to kite them around a little bit and get them away from you and then run back, and we actually should be using. I keep forgetting to use my XP for trade clicky, which I should be using. I just keep forgetting. So anything that's not a prophet, we do want to kill because we don't want to build up that dungeon alert, as I was talking about before. So that's a prophet. And I do wish, one thing I wish they would change about this quest is I wish they would make the prophets, I wish they were like a different monster, or they look different in some way, because it is kind of difficult to point to, because they do look exactly the same. It would be nice if they were like a different color, maybe, at least. So now we want to run down here and try. So we're building up dungeon alert. So the monsters see that green skull. So we want to. I'm trying to run ahead of them though, so that I'm going to try to zerg to the end here. Where is that gem? We got one more. I think we got one more lever somewhere. Let's find it. lever up here. So one thing you can do is you can, use your Q key. So now I'm getting harried, so I'm going to have to kill some kobolds here. Harried is something that happens once these things build up too much. So I'm going to go ahead and kill some of them. I'm taking some damage here, which is okay. This is another quest that's like, it's way easier to do in a party. Because you can have, say, like, maybe you have a tank-like character that's running with you. They can, they could, for example, like, I'm going to pull the hireling to me to heal me, actually. I'm going to hope she doesn't kill, these kobolds. So we got profit, 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 profit. Okay. Yeah, she's going to attack them. I shouldn't have done that. That was actually probably a mistake. I can actually set her to passive, though, so she won't do anything. She might distract them a little bit. Here it is. I know I missed one lever. Okay. So, let's pull this. We should be able to finish this quest. Okay, there we go. So now we can go... Let's go this way. Let's go north. I think we can go... Is it down here? Yeah, here we go. So we got 2 green levers so we can go in the 2 crystal door. And then the gem we need should be down here. Where is it? Oops, and that was a profit. Where is that gem? Gonna keep going. I know we're close. Here we go. There's the gem we need. Oh, it's blocked. I need to be on the other side. There we go. So now at this point, we have completed the quest, so we don't have to care about profits. We can kill them. And we're going to do that so we can go back and get our chest. But yeah, a really challenging quest. Easily the most challenging one. And, I was even on normal there, getting a little low in health. Because you can't really use hirelings in this quest because... if you bring a hireling with you, it's going to also kill profits, which you can't do. So again, that is a really challenging one. Please, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Just skip it. But if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot. Just at least you know now how it works, so you don't get frustrated. Okay. Doesn't really matter. None of that stuff was appealing. So we're going to actually run now to the tavern. And we're going to sell and repair. We are going to make sure we sell everything we get on this character because we are going to need money. So, I'm just going to keep that one actually. If we haven't picked up an augment, I'll show you how it works. Okay, jump. Probably aren't going to use those winter boots again. We're not going to use that. Devotion, I might keep that for now. We're not going to use that. We're going to keep the throwing stuff for now. Tumble and search, we don't need. We're going to sell our gems. We don't need that. We don't need that. Okay. We're up to almost 2,000 platinum. All right, so let's continue on. Got a few more up here. We've got, okay, so now we are to, I might at this point show you. So this guy gives us another bag, which is an ingredients bag. So we get a tiny bag. So now we have our 3 main bags, which is tiny ingredients, collectibles, and gem. So now, since at this point, I'm going to show you a few things. So this guy right here, I'm not going to do it in this video, but there's a whole quest that's a Caneth crafting tutorial. If you want to learn how to do Caneth crafting, which, as I talked about before, is kind of the main overarching crafting system in DDO that spans all levels, you can do this quest and follow him. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to show you something here. We're going to run to an area of the game called the 12 before we continue our quest in the harbor. So the 12 is over here. So go through that gate and it's right here, okay? So there's one very important reason I'm going to show you this. It's because we can get another bag. But a bigger, so we got a tiny ingredients bag that holds 12. What we're going to be able to do is hop over here and we're going to get a small ingredients bag, and it's going to hold 30. A lot of players don't know about this. I didn't even know about this until, well, I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't realize you could get it this low level until recently, actually. But we're going to go through there and into the Tower of the 12. Now, this is a higher level area. There's some quests around here that we won't encounter until later in the game, but you can talk to an NPC right in here, right now, to get something quite valuable. So it's worth running out here, because bags are super, super nice to have. So I'm going to talk to Jean here, and she's going to give us this small ingredients bag. So now we have 2. We've got a small and a tiny ingredients bag. So we're going to set this on auto gather. And there we go. So now we've got 42 spaces for ingredients. And then we've got the gem and the collectibles. So we should be good to go for our inventory for a while. Okay. Now we're going to head back to the harbor and finish our harbor quests. Now, what we passed through was the marketplace. The marketplace is the next place we're going to go after we finish our level 2 quests in the harbor. Not this episode, but there'll be a later episode, assuming you guys, keep watching this series. Another nice thing to do as a free-to-play player is, I mentioned this before, but there are, where is it at? There is should be a spirit. Yeah, here we go. So you can bind your spirit to wherever you want. This is a common place that's a good one to bind if you are in a guild. So I just bound my spirit to here. So if I die, this is where I'm going to resurrect. It's a nice one if you're a free-to-play player. Probably the best one for a free-to-play player, because it puts you right next to the guild ship entrance. So this is a guild ship entrance. Now you should, as a new player, try to get into a guild, because when you're in a guild, you get you get what are called ship buffs. So basically, guilds can buy buffs that gives you permanent boost to your character. Well, not permanent. It gives you like a 5 for them for 5 hours, but you can always run back to your guild ship every 5 hours of playtime and re-up your buffs. But it also really helps with navigation, just getting around. If you're in a guild ship, you can go from any guild ship entrance to another guild ship entrance, and there's a lot of teleport options on the ship depending on. Well, let me correct myself. You can't go from a guild ship entrance to another guild ship entrance, but you can go from your guild ship entrance to the actual ship. In the ship, gives you tons of different teleport options. So it's depending on how advanced your ship is. So it's really, really, really nice to be in a guild. Now, just to make things for this series, I'm not going to join a guild because I want to have the true free to play. I'm going to assume, that you aren't in a guild, because I think a lot of new players don't join a guild. But so I'm going to stay out of one. But you really should. Everyone should be in a guild, and don't think you have to be like a big socialized, organized thing. There's tons of guilds in DDO that you're just in the guild for the ship buffs. Like, they don't really hang out with each other. But there certainly are a lot of guilds that are that way, but not everyone is. So just be aware of that. So that was the marketplace we just passed through. We're gonna go there later, but just not right now. But there's a lot of free-to-play quests in there as well. So, but for us, we're going to just keep continuing around here. So, there's some other... There are a variety of other, like, paid... And here's another guild ship entrance. Paid areas in the game that are here in the harbor. But we're going to hit up all the free-to-play ones. So, a couple things. There is this guy, and there's one of these exist in many, many places in the game. These are the auctioneers. So there's two options. There's the auction house. This is where things are sold for platinum, which is the main currency in the game. So if you are a new player and you need, say, like we need a wisdom item, you can search by level range, by minimum level range for any item you want, see what's available. People throw stuff on here all the time. So if you have the platinum, look at low level stuff and maybe pick something up. You can also just trade freely with other players. They can mail you things in your mail. But I'm going to make this series harder on myself and not use the auction house at all. But it's a good thing to use. There's also I guess I should mention, you can also post things if you want to make some money yourself. You can post stuff for auction, and you can have a buyout, kind of like eBay, right? You can have a buy it now price, a bid price. You can only do a bid. You can set a duration from 8 to 72 hours. But yeah, it's an option. There's also the shard, and I have to mention the shard exchange, which is kind of the real money house. So you can earn some shards. There are some ways to earn a little bit, but the main way to earn shards without paying for them in the DDO store is to farm items that are valuable and then sell them for shards on the shard exchange. So you can do that just like the platinum shard exchange. You can post stuff, you can look for stuff to buy, but yeah, it's just kind of the more real money shard exchange. I think a lot of us have mixed feelings about that, but it's a monetization mechanism. But you can earn shards in game by farming stuff, particularly in Night Revels. This is a good time to do it because this is the Halloween event. The seasonal events are a really good time to make money because you can play those events, farm out valuable items people want, so something like a festive augment, and then sell it later in the year on the shard exchange and make a little bit of money. There's also random things you can pull from chests, very, very rarely. It's like something like a cursed card cleanser, which are extremely valuable. This is, we looked at this before. That's just a mail house. So you can compose, you can write messages, and you can mail people stuff. You can mail other characters like one item per letter. You can send people money, whatever. It's just an in-game communication device if you want to use it. But okay, we're going to just continue. We're just going to continue clockwise and hit all these. So the next one is Home Sweet Sewer, which is, oh, is this a solo quest? I actually haven't done this one in a while. Actually, when I ran through these, I didn't hit these. So this is a 3. I'm going to actually skip this. It's because it's a 3. So another thing you can do is your adventure compendium. You can bring this up and you can sort by level. So if you want to hit all the level 2s, you can just sort by level, and we can look at all the level 2s here. So we've got a few more to do. Yeah, Home Sweet Sewer is actually a level 3, so we're going to skip that for now. So in DDO, you generally, in heroics, you generally want to be no more than 2 levels above the base level of the quest. So if the base level quest is level 2, you generally want to be level 4, because if you go any higher than that, you lose out on what's called the delving bonus, which is a pretty nice XP chunk. So people tend to run quests in heroics 2 levels over. So if you're wondering when to do what quest, that's where you really should do all the level 2s you want to do before you get to level 5, character level 5, I mean. Okay, so we're going to do Butcher's Path. This is a level 2. This is definitely a hack and slash quest. Summon our hireling here, which only has 23 minutes. I should have actually picked up another hireling there at the market, because this hireling is actually level 1. So with hirelings, you can summon a hireling that's lower or equal to your character level. So at level 3, we can summon... we actually can look in here. I actually don't remember what's in here. I think it's just a collectible. What is over here? I actually am not sure. We can check it out, though. Yeah, this is just an optional. So you see this a lot in DDO. You have you go off an optional path, you can get a little XP by doing an optional. You got ambushed here by some kobolds. But anyways, as I was saying, you can get up to level. So we only got 57 XP for that. You can have up to we could summon level 3 hirelings if we wanted to, and those are sold in the marketplace. So whenever this one expires, we'll have to hop over and buy ourselves another hireling or 2. So I actually took Stunning Blow and I haven't been using it. Let me show you how it works. So, okay, that hireling actually saved against that. Or that Kobold did, I mean. So, Stunning Blow is an effect that's based on the enemy's fortitude saves. Oh, we got our first ooze. So oozes. So basically, what I'm saying. I'll talk about the Stunning Blow and then talk about oozes. So with Stunning Blow, it's based on their fortitude save. So fortitude save is based on your constitution. So generally, casters that you fight will have a lower fortitude save than say like a melee, like a melee monster that you face, like an ogre or something, is going to have a higher fortitude save than say like a caster. So a lot of times when you're wondering like who should I use Stunning Blow on, if you're wondering which mob, it should be, you know, a caster. And he's actually saving. I'm actually surprised they're saving because we don't actually have anything boosting that. Maybe I'll actually throw back on. Yeah, we'll put this back on because this will give us a +1 to our stun. So it has Insightful Combat Mastery on it. And we could also take levels in our trance, but that'll give us some extra DCs. So that'll help our Stunning Blow a bit. But if I can get it to work, I'll show you guys what it does. Okay, so we just got a Rest Shrine, which I don't think I'm going to use. I should be using my action boost more. So let me see if I can get this to work. Yeah, see, you see here the ding? It procced that time. But on normal, I'm killing a lot of these monsters in like one hit anyway. But Stunning Blow is really going to help more on higher difficulties, or if your character's distant. So you see that? You hear the ding? So he is now stunned. You see the little rings over his head. When characters are stunned, they are considered helpless. So when a mob is in a helpless state, it takes extra damage. So that's why Stunning Blow is good. Take extra damage. Now there are some effects, like Trip, for example. Trip does not, it does CC them, but it does not cause them to become helpless. So I think there is actually a swim. Yeah, I think we can go through the swim here. There's a little swim. We may as well just get our water breathing ring. I really should make some more hot bars here. I'll do that in a sec. Okay. All right, so I use my water breathing clicky to go down here. I believe we have to go. We can go this way, I believe. Let's see, it's like I said before, I don't run these too much, but I did run through them the other day. Oh yeah, I remember this. All right, there's a trap. So I've managed to avoid most of the hits by swimming between the spikes. Okay, it's actually locked. Okay. All right, let's go back. All right, let's just run through here. I don't remember. Sorry, I really should have remembered, but remember, I think there's either a key or I don't think you have to go that way. I think it's an optional way to get through. But anyways, we'll just continue this way. I don't remember if that's an optional or if it's just a different path that lets you avoid some fighting if you have if you find a key or have a lockpick ability. I frankly don't remember, I'll be honest. I don't really intend this series to be, it's not like intended to be a walkthrough of every single quest. It's more like just a chill series to just teach new players things generally as we go through. Not, I'm not, like, don't expect me to be perfect going through all these quests, particularly because I'm a 15 to 34 player. I really don't play, I really don't play 1 to 20 too much. So if I, again, apologies if I am not super ultra efficient in getting through some of these quests. All right, so that situation we needed to kill a certain number of kobolds before that gate came up. I need to rearrange these hotbars a little bit because I normally have this action boost on a different. I usually have it on my J and K keys on my keyboard. I need to set that up. I'll probably set that up before next episode so that I can, because I'm not hitting those a lot because it's frankly on a key I'm not used to hitting all the time. I have it on the 1 key right now, but I really should be using it more. Same with the stun. I usually have it on a shift +2. So, all right. So now we're getting to the end of the quest. So, anyways, what I was saying is like I'll get you through these quests. May not be the most efficient way. I actually am trying to remember what's through here. Is this? I think this is an optional because I know the quest finishes up there. Let's go ahead and check this out. I think this is an optional, but I know the end of the quest is the other way up that ladder. So what is over here? I actually don't remember. Well, let's go back. But yeah, feel free, if you guys that do play heroics a lot, I mean, feel free to chime in the comments if you have any, like, you know, tips or recommendations regarding, you know, these quests and things I could do better. Okay, so the end is right here. We got to kill this guy as an optional, but just getting into this room finishes the quest. So I really shouldn't have tried to use stunning blow there because you can't. So with bosses, they can't be stunned. So actually got a piece of darkest chocolate, which is part of the Halloween event. All right. Actually, we're just gonna take all these. All right. So let's finish out here. It's gonna be a longer episode, but I do think I want to get through all these level 2 harbor quests before we continue on. I think I want to go ahead and get them all in this one. I could have split this up into like 2 different episodes because there's a lot of level 2 quests in the harbor. But we'll just continue on. We're about 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, this is Recovering Lost Tome, another level 2 quest. I might make future episodes shorter if you guys want me to. I don't know. I'll make timestamps. You guys can, like, I don't expect everyone to watch the whole thing that's interested in watching this video like in one sitting. There will be timestamps, so if you want to skip around or come back later, I'll make a timestamp for each quest. Oh yeah, I forgot to summon our hireling here. Which we got, what, 14 minutes on her? I really should have a little better hireling at this point. I really should be using, I could be using Byron as well. Offensive hireling. He's still quite good. He's quite good for all the harbor quests as well as the Korthos quests. Okay, so we're gonna, this quest has a good bit of lightning damage to deal with. Wait for this guy to leave, and then we're gonna click on the bookshelves here. There we go. Now we can click on this. Search for the book. I know your true intentions, thief. My traps will be the end of you. Lots of traps in this one. This pop-up says use different types of weapons to combat different types of undead. That's the game really doesn't work that way anymore. Just stick with your best weapon. Like I kind of talked about this last episode with Hayton's Crypt in Korthos, but the game has gotten away from that. I would just use whatever weapon just stick with the weapon you got. It's not so important that you use like slashing weapons on zombies or bludgeoning weapons on skeletons. All right, so we've got a lever here. Lots of lightning damage here. One of the other good things about having this absorb on our armor, if you can get electric absorb, it's good for the harbor. There's a lot of electric damage, not just this quest, but the waterworks later, and kobolds that throw lightning bolts at you. It's kobold shamans, I mean. That zombie really wants to be in the water and hurt my hireling there. We'll just leave him alone. Little bit of swimming here. There is not, you know, not too much swimming in DDO though. So it's just a collectible here. That zombie's still following us around. So one thing, these are undead, so you cannot stun undead. They are immune to stun, so it makes sense because they don't have they're not alive. They don't have functioning brains. Like, how do you, I guess a zombie technically has a brain, but how do you stun like a ghost, right? You can't because it doesn't have a brain. It can't get a concussion, which is really what stunning blow is, a physical attack. So not every crowd control doesn't work on a lot of undead. All right, so here we got lightning traps. Normal will be fine, but higher levels, these higher difficulty levels, these traps can be really deadly. But we are taking some damage here. So be careful, try to get through that area quickly. And not everyone has to run through that if you're in a group. You just have one person do that. And there's also these runes on the side. These runes, if you have enough, so we don't have enough intelligence, but if you can meet the stat check, I think they are all intelligence, you can actually hit those and it turns the traps off. Our hireling might die here, actually. Yeah, see, they're all intel. I was just checking to see if they're all intelligence. So hirelings aren't always the smartest. Like right here, the hireling is not healing itself, and it really should be. So I'm going to have it. Sometimes you might have to manually put your mouse over the hireling's bar here and have it actually heal itself. We cannot go through there. Let's see. What do we got to pull? Did I miss something? Was it the zombie? Actually don't remember if there's a lever I didn't pull or if it was, let's see, or if I think I missed a lever. Let's go back. Let's see, we pulled that one. What did we miss here? Go and check again. I guess I missed something. What did I miss? We pulled this. It might have been the situation that we needed to kill a certain number of zombies. So I did pull the lever. Let's see. Let's go back and check again. Yeah, let's go back and check again. It may be the case that we didn't kill enough enemies. Sometimes, as I was saying before, sometimes there will be doors that are locked behind. They won't open, you know, until you kill a certain number of monsters. Nope, it is still down. Let's try this again. Let's go back through here. Okay, got that. What have I missed here? Oh, I didn't pull this. That was the issue. Alright, we should be good now, but I'll just double check over here. Yeah, we're good. I think this was just a collectible over here, but we'll double check. Yeah, that's one of the things about DDO that can be annoying, particularly if a new player. You know, you might have missed a lever, and you might have to go backtrack like I just did there. Forgot a lever, so I had to backtrack a little bit. Fortunately, it didn't take me too long to find out what I missed, but can be annoying. Fortunately, it doesn't happen too often. I mean, it happens sometimes, but once you learn the quest, it won't happen too often. And it's just one of those things that comes with experience, I guess, and me showing my lack of experience with some of these quests. But even if you know the quest, it can be easy to just forget something. So, all right, so we're good now. We can get back through to where we were before. And we now just need to speak to the librarian, who is actually over here. That is trapped. Got some zombies to kill. So, zombies, even though they can't be stunned, you can actually trip them. So they are not immune to trip. They are immune to stun. Because it makes sense, right? You can trip a zombie, but you can't stun a zombie because it doesn't have a living, functioning brain. Okay. Where is the librarian? Let's go back here. See, that should have ended the quest. I'm actually not sure. Oh, we got to go through here, isn't it? Maybe we have to... No. We clicked on this to start the quest. I don't think we need to... Yeah, we don't have to use that again. Maybe we do have to click on that chest over here that's trapped. Let me try that. So I don't think we need to hit that rune. Oh, it's the bookshelf, isn't it? Oh, it's this bookshelf. My fault, guys. I should know this. I just ran through this quest to prepare for this video 2 days ago. Yeah. Search for the bookshelf and you're good. Apologies, guys, for missing that. Oh, well. I don't claim to be perfect. All right. So that one's done. All right. We got another... Okay, we don't really care about that. We can get some... We don't need that. Okay, we don't really need any of these weapons. Take the extra great axe, I guess. We can kill some oozes with it. All right. So, what's next? We got Lost Tome is done. So we got these over here. We can do... This is a solo quest. This is a really easy solo quest. So we'll go ahead and run. Oh, it's a level 4, actually. We're going to skip that. We're only running level 2s today. This guy, this is a higher level quest. So we can actually, it doesn't even let us grab the quest yet. All right, let's do, this is Durk's got a secret. So there's actually, I'm hoping we get it. There's an item here called the Muckbane, which is a single-handed weapon that doesn't break against oozes. So see, we even got the pop-up here. This is the quest that teaches us about oozes. So oozes and slimes are common in sewers. Their digestive juices can damage or destroy your weapons and armor. So there's a couple of things you can do with oozes, right? You have to be wary of them because if you hit them with your main weapon, like our great axe here, it's going to break your great axe. So you need to either have a special weapon like a crystal weapon, for example, that is immune to being broken. So here we go. By oozes, or you just have to have, so we had actually a great axe we picked up. So, or you can have just a few junk weapons sitting around that you don't mind breaking. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just swap weapons and hit them with some weapon we're not using. So you see this weapon, I had not used it, but it already took about, what, 15% of its damage from hitting those few oozes. So we're going to have to pay attention. So when we fight oozes, we need to swap. But if we can get the Muckbane later, you can actually just use that and not have to worry about it. And there's enhancements later in the game and a variety of things later in the game where you can get your weapons to be immune to oozes. But as of right now, we don't have access to any of that. All right. I'm going to pick up the mushrooms. We probably have enough for a healing potion. Not that we really need a healing potion. You can just buy healing potions as well, although they are different than the potions you get from collectibles. I don't know. We can go ahead and try to search for stuff, but we don't really, doesn't really matter. Look, we found it. I don't know what's back here. Oh, we got another ooze. Okay, snuck up on me a little bit there. Okay. But it's really important. So one thing you can do is if you don't have another weapon for the oozes, your only other option is take off your weapon and you can just punch them. So you can just take off your weapon. You can just go into your inventory and just drag it off. Or you can get an empty weapon set, put it on, and then just click on that and it'll take your weapon off. So there's a couple different ways to do it. But you can just punch oozes and kill them with your fists if you don't have a weapon. It will not be very good DPS and it'll be slow, but you can do it. Let's see. We're just going to go down the main path here. More oozes. So, as I was saying, in this quest, there is a optional here, which I'm really hoping we pull the Muckbane. So the Muckbane does not drop every time. I don't know what the drop rate is. Something like, I don't know. I've heard mixed things. A player told me the other day when I was asking about it on my Twitch stream, which, by the way, if you want to check me out on Twitch, that's linked below in my link tree, which is twitch.tv/Axel Alex K. But I'm having some internet issues at the moment, but you should be able to find me whenever you're watching this. I should be, streaming pretty commonly. I stream quite a bit, with the exception of right now because of my internet. But yeah, what was I talking about? What was I talking about? We were talking about oozes. We were talking about. Let's see. I should be stunning stuff more. Anyways, let's just start talking about something else. Alright, we got rest shrines, we got breakables, got valves.
The rear section of the sewer has been opened.
Okay. Oh yeah, we were talking about Muckbane. My memory has returned. Okay, it is actually down here. Gotta watch out for some traps. I really should have, Maybe I will use the shrine, actually, because I don't have a hireling with me. I may go to the market after this and get a hireling. But I do have some, I do have one lay on hands, which, let's see. Got a couple little potions here, but it's not going to help us much. But, so resting in a shrine does give me my lay on hands back. So as a paladin, even as a paladin, you get more self-healing later, but right off the gate for the first few levels, you admittedly don't have tons and tons of self-healing. So, alright, so we gotta go, not this way. Gonna go around. That also resets our Expedious Retreat clickies. Gonna go around this way because we're not there yet. But let's go. I'm gonna go. Yeah, let's go in here first.
This room stinks a little less than the rest of this foul place. This probably marks a good layer.
Okay, the quest is done, but we actually need to go back and do the Muckbane encounter. We actually got 25 DDO points because we had enough favor for more points. So let me go and kill this named ooze. Get our in chest first before we finish out here. Ooh, we got a deadly item. Nice. And a seeker. Okay, very good. So we are going to lose +1 to attack, but Deadly items are something you want to look out for because it gives you extra weapon damage on attacks. So we will lose +1. I'm actually bringing it also +1 Seeker, which Seeker gives you extra damage on your critical hit attacks. So we'll just go ahead and put those on for now. And if I see a lot of grazing hits, which are misses, maybe I'll put the other goggles on for the extra attack. But we're going to go around this way. We need to get to the Muckbane chest. You can get to by going this way. And I really have not been doing a good job of showing off using action boosts and active attacks. I really have been, because I'm running on normal, I've been kind of slacking on that regard. I really could have done a better job of showing you guys how all those work. But I'll try to... Trip 2, I should be using Trip. I'll try and do a better job from now on. Okay, the Muckbane chest is here, but I believe it doesn't show every... Yeah, it doesn't appear every time, so... It is right here. Let me double check. I actually took a picture, so I wanted to make sure I showed you guys, you know, on... Yeah, this is where it's at. It should spawn right here, but it's one of those it's a rare, so it doesn't appear all the time. So unfortunately, it did not appear this time. Sadly. So if you want, you can rerun and try to farm it. I wouldn't bother, honestly, especially on a two-handed fighting build. You might want to just do what I've done here and just get a couple junk great axes in your inventory and just let oozes break them. Okay, what do we got here? Ricocheting of Tumble, PRR, Combat Mastery, Insightful Repair, Shocking of Double Strike, which is actually a little better than what we have currently, although we will lose +1 stun. So go ahead and take that. Okay, all right, so that's done. Too bad we didn't get ourselves a Muckbane, but we'll be all right. So I'm actually going to go ahead and hop over to the marketplace really quick, which is actually over here. Where am I going? We're going to hop over to the marketplace. No, I'm sorry, it is this way. And we're going to buy ourselves another hireling. So I want to show you guys where they're at. So we did get a message. You will get a message every time you get additional DDO points. So right now, what are we up to? So we are already up to 95 DDO points. So once you start getting 3, you should save those up. And you can buy some content when you get a little higher level where you'll need it. So with free-to-play content in DDO, actually, let's check this augment guy. Can we get an augment, actually? Okay, we actually can trade these in. We don't have enough for an augment. We can trade one of these in for a potion. So this is what our collectibles are doing. So we can trade our 4 collectibles we've gotten for a healing potion. So that's kind of the use for collectibles. So we got ourselves a healing potion. Cool. Right here. Anyways, I was talking a little bit about the content in DDO. So there's a lot of content at low levels and mid levels, but once you start getting to the 15s, 16s, it starts to trail off a little bit. And once you get in epics, especially, which is 20 and above, there's not a whole lot of free-to-play content. So it's important to save up your points. Now, I will say there is a free coupon code, which occasionally DDO will give out, which gives you all the adventure packs in the game for free. So you really want to watch out when they do that promotion. They tend to do it once a year, but it's not guaranteed that they'll do it. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go to the, let's try to find him, the hireling vendor, which you can find by this little sword, crossing swords icon here. So we're going to go and buy ourselves some more hirelings. So let's go over here. And there's a variety of levels. So 4 to 6. I thought there was a 1 to 3. Maybe there isn't. Let's see. 14 to 16. Okay. Never mind, guys. I guess we have to go back to a different area to get more hirelings here. Yeah. Okay. I thought there was a 1 to 3 here. I guess there's not. Okay. Well, let's just go back to the harbor then. All right. Let's just go back to the harbor. That's fine. Yeah, all right. It's over here. My fault. So there is a hireling vendor, but it is over here. I was thinking it was in the marketplace. It's actually the 1 to 3 is not in the marketplace. It's in the harbor. So which makes sense. So let's go and go to this hireling and buy ourselves another one. All right. So he's right here. Let's get ourselves a level 3. Since we're level 3, we can get a healer here. Now you want to look at the description because you always want to get the clerics that are described as more of a defensive one. So sometimes they'll be described as an offensive caster. You really want the healery ones for your cleric hirelings. I tend to go for clerics over favored souls because it seems like more often the favored souls are coded more to be offensive. But this one says Illyri is a young halfling who lends aid to her companions, so we know she's a healer. So we're gonna grab her. All right, let's go back to where we were then. Keep wrapping around. We have a couple more action points to spend, so let's go. What do we want to do here? I've been spending points here because I want to get to this as quickly as possible. Great swords as favored weapons. So we're going to stick with all our points in Knights of the Chalice until we get to that enhancement because it is so important. So we'll take more of that, some more strike through, better action boosts. Let's check how many level 2s we got left. And not all these are going to be free to play. Like Total Chaos is not free to play. But most of these are. So we've got Information is Key, Miller's Debts, Haverdasher, that's free to play. Garrison's Missing Pack is free to play. Bringing the Light and Arachnophobia. So some of these are really short. So we actually don't have too much left to go. But let's go up here. And I think this one... Yeah, this one is level 2, free to play. So we'll do this one next. Just continue to work our way around. So let's summon our new hireling here.
As you enter the sewer,
This one also has Divine Vitality, so she can actually refill your spell points if you want her to. Alright, so let's pay a little more attention to using active attacks to show you guys how those work and what you should be doing. There are some acid traps in this one, if I recall correctly. Now this one I did not run through the other day in preparation for this video. Got more oozes. We really should have repaired our weapons there. So we are going to continue to switch weapons as we hit oozes. Some more oozes over there, I believe. So Stunning Blow isn't as good on normal because so often on normal, I mean at least on this build with the weapon we have, you're going to be killing stuff in one hit anyway, so it's kind of like, why stun it? But if you're running, Elite, it's a lot more helpful for leveling. But, you're also, if you're following this build, you're going to be on a much better build than your standard new player, who doesn't really know what they're doing. And they're actually saving a lot more than I thought they would. That's one of the reasons I kind of skipped out on our trance at first, is I thought we wouldn't have a problem with our DCs for Stunning Blow. They're actually saving quite a bit, despite us having, pretty good strength. Now, if we get another rank of strength, we can get another DC. But I'm actually a little surprised by that. And we even have a stunning item on. Did we have... Yeah, we have an Insightful Combat Mastery, which actually doesn't stack with our trance. And we have a stunning... What is it? I thought we had a stunning. We have stunning. Yeah, we have stunning on a great axe, which stacks with the insightful stun. So we actually have +2 DCs and a 17 strength, which is not, you know, could be a little better. Maybe we'll get a +2 strength item here soon. I hope. I mean, we're still hitting with our stunning blow, but it's not hitting. We are failing some. So it's really important with these active attacks, though. You do want to max your DC as much as possible. If I was playing, you know, on like my normal account or if running Elite, I would have this character. If I was running this character, I would have this stuff ready to go, right? I would have a strength item. I would have, you know, a stunning item and insightful stun, and I would also have tomes. So this character also does not have tomes. So there's things in DDO called stat tomes. What stat tomes do is they give you permanent increases to your stats that stack with everything. Tomes are very, very rare. You can get them at certain favor thresholds. You do get a free tome of your choice. And also you can get them in raids. You can also buy them from the DDO store. But there are ways to get them in game. Just FYI. All right, we got a little swim here. So I actually need to add a couple. Let's just do this now. I need to add a couple more hotbars. I think we've reached the point. We've reached the limits of our 2 hotbar setup here. We're going to actually do this. And this hotbar actually, now that I'm noticing it, has my key maps I typically use on it. So we're going to do this. We're going to put this one up here. Move this here. We're actually going to move our stunning blow. I usually use shift +2 for my stunning blow. We're going to move our heal to shift 1, which is what I typically do. We'll put trip up here as well. We're going to use one of these hotbars to put rings on so that when I want to use my, where is it at? My underwater action, or not underwater action, but water breathing item, we can click it and then immediately click our regular ring back on. Because clickies like that, you don't need to have that on all the time, right? You just have to put it on temporarily to use the clicky and then click it back. Now I think we got to do a short swim here. Now I didn't really have to use my underwater action item there. I could have gotten through here without it, really, but you know, I had it, so why not? Whoops. Should be another lever. Yeah, there's one more right here we need to pull, and then we got to go back underwater and through that gate. So let's go ahead and do that.
Metal grinds on metal, and ripples spread across the water.
So, all right, this gate opened. This is actually, believe it or not, this is a little bit longer of a swim. One thing, when you're underwater, I mean, compared to a typical swim in DDO, there aren't very many super long swims. So be careful when you're underwater. Try not to get close to ladders because you really don't want to be grabbing a ladder that's underwater like this. I wish the devs actually wouldn't put underwater ladders this long because it will just slow you down. So I would try to avoid that ladder until you actually get out of the water.
You leave the festering sewer water only to be assailed by a pungent new scent.
Oh, whoops. I did not mean to cast Lay on Hands there. I actually had the wrong hotbar selected. I meant to hit damage boost. So I'm going to make this series a lot harder on myself by not allowing guild buffs and auction house. I mean, the game's significantly easier, especially ship buffs when you have ship buffs. So here we go. We pick up Garrison's pack, and that's it for this quest. Ship buffs are really strong, especially low levels. So it's going to be interesting to see. Like, normal difficulty is super easy if you know, for our vet players. But when you don't have, I mean, it's still really easy. But like, when you're soloing, you're limiting yourself to what you can pick up, and no auction house, no ship buffs, you know, first life character, no tomes. It's you know, it's not exactly a super cakewalk. I mean, it is a cake. It is really easy, but it could be worse. Okay, so we actually got, I'm kind of tempted. So this great axe gives us holy and feeding, so it gives us temporary hit points. So I think I'll swap to this, even though we lose 1 DC on our stun. I'm going to swap to this one. It also has a negative level effect, which is just fun. So you'll see that proccing. But I do like the temporary hit points are actually kind of nice to have this early in the game. All right, so what else we got? We got a few more here. Let's continue on. Did these two. I think we did all the quests up here. Yep, we did. So we've just got, I think we got Bringing the Light, we got Arachnophobia. We got Miller's Debt, which is over here. We got Haverdasher, which is over here. So this, we'll do Miller's Debt next. This is a really easy quest. This is a solo dungeon. Yes. So there's a few of these in the harbor, which are solo. So you cannot select the difficulty, and you can only play this alone. You can't play it in a group. Yeah, actually, hirelings are not allowed in solo dungeons. I actually didn't realize that. I personally, it's important, you know, at low levels for new players to use hirelings. I tend to not use hirelings too much, but a lot of that is because I am not actually a super, I'm not really a soloer. I most of the time when I play DDO, I do play it in a group. So I tend to not use hirelings. The one thing about hirelings is they do take up a spot in your group. So if you're using a hireling, you normally can have 6 people in your party, but the hireling takes up one of those spots. So if you are using a hireling, then you can only have 4 other people instead of 5 other people beside yourself in your group. Okay, so that door opens once those guys are done. This is really easy dungeon. Just run to the end, kill stuff. Speak to the NPC and collect his goods. So actually we can get this collectible real quick. Try to use a damage boost there. A lot of these actives, you know, with this build, you know, being a lot stronger than your normal new players build, we really are kind of running through normal really easily here. But if you play on Elite, which if I wasn't on a free-to-play account, I would be playing these on Elite. These active attacks, these action boosts become much more important on higher difficulties. But if you want to give it a shot at Elite, you know, repeat dungeons. You can even try Reaper mode, which Reaper mode is the more common difficulty. Most people tend to play when they're leveling. They tend to play Reaper 1 as the most common difficulty in the game for sure for leveling. Because when you get into Reaper mode, you do get another XP bonus for playing on Reaper mode for your first time completion. So a lot of people tend to run on R1, which is the minimum to get that Reaper bonus. But these things come into play on higher difficulties a lot more is all I'm trying to say. Haverdasher, this is another quest that they actually made a Halloweenized version of for the Night Revels event. Really short quest. It's actually not playable this year, but it has been playable in previous years. I actually have not been using my Smite Evil. I've been doing a really bad job of explaining, or at least showing you guys how to play a Paladin, but it's just one of those things where, you know, I'm playing on normal, so I'm not really having, I'm able to be pretty lazy with my active abilities. This is a 1-minute quest. Just 2 rooms, kill some scorpions, you know, get a chest. Alright, that's it for that one. Got another chest. Our inventory is getting, we're on our last page. We need to go, I think we can wait to, I think I can wait to sell until we're done with these quests though. We got enough inventory. Visionaries, Boots of Jump. Okay, nothing we really want to use here. Just take something. Alright, so what do we got? We got information is key. Bringing the Light, and I think that's it. We've got three more quests. Bringing the light, information is key, and Arachnophobia. Total Chaos, that's part of the Keep on the Borderlands pack, which is paid, so we can't play that one. But one is down here. Yeah, they're both down here. Bringing the light, you actually have to go inside this tavern. There's 2 taverns in the harbor. The entrance to the quest is right here, but the quest giver is up here in the tavern, which is the Leaky Dinghy. Now, there isn't one in this tavern, but the other tavern we were in previously, you know what, I'll just sell this stuff while I'm here. The other tavern we were in previously, I'm going to go ahead and sell that. I'm going to keep some of these great axes, though. Some of these taverns will have tavern brawling areas, so you can actually fight other players if you want to. Let's get rid of some of these. I'm going to keep some throwers for now until we get a repeating thrower. Actually have a Night Shield scroll, which isn't bad. I still think... I'm going to still sell that, though. There's actually tavern brawling areas. So if you want to, you can actually fight other players. This game is not at all made for PvP. So your mileage will vary, but it's not very popular in DDO. This is a PvE game, not a PvP game. It's just the characters in DDO are not built really for PvP. It's kind of an afterthought, and not a lot of players, very, very few players engage in it. It's more of just a side thing you can mess around with friends, really. But the thing with DDO is our characters, you know, say at cap, you might have 2,000 to 3,000 HP, but your character can do, you know, way more than that, 10 times more than that in a single hit. You know, some players can do 100 times that, your HP in a single hit. Like if you have 2,000, if you have like 2,500, you can do 200k, 300k crits. There's even been critical hits from players that are up to 1 million damage at times. Now that was before some recent changes they made, but to some ranged abilities. But yeah, the point is, you do way more damage than you have HP. And enemies have way more HP than you do. Like the end game bosses in this game, in raids and such, can have dozens of millions of HP. So, it's just, the game is just not really built for that. So this quest, information is key. There is a lever hidden here behind the boxes, so make sure you don't miss that, because, well, you can't miss it, because you can't continue on with the quest unless you find that lever. Okay, so this one we got a, let's see. We can actually jump down because it's water. Well, actually, it's shallow water. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, in this quest, we've got, I think we have to go, if I remember correctly, I think there is a lever. And we'll just check the sides first. I know there's a couple levers you got to pull to advance. I think it's the other lever, the other way, actually. Well, we'll find out. Yeah, it's the other way. Got our collectible though. I know personally, I'm kind of OCD with collectibles. I don't use them too much, but I can't stand running past them and not picking them up, you know. So let's go this way. I think we actually have to pull a lever up that ladder before we can get access to a ladder that's down here, but we'll check it out anyway. Okay, swapping weapons again for that ooze. Just make sure you swap weapons. And another thing you can see me doing, use your Q key on your keyboard to auto-detect anything that's interactable. So that's how I knew that there was a collectible up there, because I hit the Q key and it lit up. So it will cycle between anything that's targetable, whether that's a collectible or a enemy or a lever, whatever.
see one of Osgood's men making his way down the tunnel ahead. He hears you approach and starts running.
So, call another mechanic, kill a couple things before we can continue on. Killing it unlocked this valve. I think the other way is the main path. Yeah. Just breakables. Which, as you guys can tell, I'm not worrying about getting the breakable 8 XP bonus. The animation on that guy's a little messed up, as you can see. He's gliding across the water instead of walking. Okay. So as you can see there, once you pull a lever, you can actually rotate. You can't move forward or back, but your character can. You can spin your character, and you can still, even if you're facing away from the lever, it'll still. Actually, let's go this way first. It'll still pull the lever. Actually, I don't think there's anything up here. Yeah, there's. Is there anything up here? I don't recall. No, there's not. All right. So now I remember this part. This is the part I was thinking of earlier. There's actually a lever to the, I believe it's to the west, but we need to pull another lever up here first before we can get to that lever. So let's go up here, turn these valves. I don't know if you have to turn them both. Yeah, it's just that one. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one anyway, but I don't think we have to pull the second one. So now the DM's kind of prompting us that low into the west. So the DM basically told us where to go next. So, you know, pay attention to the DMs. They do give you clues. So again, Q key. I can see this valve through the wall because I used the Q key. Very important thing. So now we can pull that. So that first lever up those stairs unlocked. I believe there was a gate here it unlocked to let us get access to that lever. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you guys want this series to continue. I mean, like I said earlier, if as long as it's getting, you know, people are watching and people want it, I'll do it. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I normally don't do, you know, content like this because I'd found in the past that the reason I haven't done a lot of Let's Play content is because I usually find that y'all don't want to watch it. But if I've been mistaken and you all enjoy this, please let me know. Please ask for what you want me to do. I want to make videos that people want to watch. You know? All right, we are done with this one. Let's see, how close are we getting to level 4? We're not going to get to level 4 this episode. Okay, don't forget, you got to go back to the tavern to turn your quest in. So we have one more quest, and we're done for today, which is Arachnophobia. Oh no, I'm sorry. We got Bringing the Light as well. No, this is, we just did Bringing the Light. I'm sorry. Let's see. Vitality, which is not bad. It doesn't matter. We're just going to sell that. No, I'm sorry. We just did, information is key. We still get, okay, so we got 2 actually. We got Bringing the Light and Arachnophobia. I'm sorry. So, we are not quite done. Okay, this is Irestone Inlet, which is a quest for later. It's not a level 2 quest. This hut is here. It's actually intentionally out of place in the harbor. You might see this and be like, what is this, you know, 1960s hippie hut doing here in the harbor? But that's part of it's part of the Gatekeeper storyline that we mentioned before that was in the Gatekeeper's Grove there. It has to do with that storyline, but there's a reason it's supposed to be out of place. If you see that and it looks really out of place. All right, so we got Arachnophobia here, and I've got to find I think Bringing the Light. We might have missed Bringing the Light. I think we did. Yeah, Bringing the Light's over here. We got to run back over to where we were. I should have done that earlier, guys. So we'll have to run back there and hit that up last. So this quest is actually Sort of similar to Stealthy Repossession. Oh, yeah. This is also a solo. I forgot. So this one, Stealthy Repo, we could not kill more than 5 or so prophets. In this one, we have to kill a certain number of spiders, but we also have to not break 10 sarcophaguses. So you see these sarcophaguses that are on the side? If we break 10 of those, the quest fails. So got to be really careful about where you're swinging your weapon or where you're shooting your spells, depending on what kind of build you're using. But really easy quests otherwise. I mean, solo quests are always simple. Just pay attention to where you're swinging. If you see there's some dark hallways like this, just pay attention because your weapon has more range than you think. Run along the walls. I mean, don't be too concerned about it if you break a couple. There's a lot of leeway. You can break 10 of them, right? So don't worry too much. But you might want to disable auto attack. You may want to drag enemies out to a different area of the dungeon. If you guys have any like tips or not tips, but like feedback on this series that you think I could do better, please let me know. Things you want to see me do differently. Is there anything you guys want me to talk about? Because it is a lot of time here doing these videos, and I'm trying to talk the whole time. But if there's certainly there's time to go and talk about topics that may not relate to the exact quest I'm running. So let me know if you're a new player and you're watching this, what things do you want me to talk about? What things do you want me to explain to you? Please leave feedback in the comments. Okay, we got a few levers to pull here. Levers are going to pull. So this is a really small room, so you may want to see. That's a reason you want to bring off. That's a reason you might want to take auto attack off, but it's fine. We broke one sarcophagus. It's fine. We can break up to 10. Actually, up to 9. I think at the 10th it fails. So it's fine. And you even get prompts from the DM that tells you once you've cleared, because you have to clear each wing of spiders. And then there's a big spider at the end. So we actually got really close there to hitting a sarcophagus. So you do have to watch out. And even though you have some leeway, you can break like 3 of them in one swing. So be careful. It's not the biggest deal if you fail. It's a really short quest. So, if you fail it, just try again. You can also just skip this one if you want to. The solo quests don't give a lot of XP, and they don't give a lot of favor either. They give some favor. That's one thing I should talk about as well, is favor. So every quest you complete for the first time gives you favor, and you get more favor from doing the quest on higher difficulty. So you get max favor doing it at elite. You get around 2/3 favor doing it on hard, and even less than that doing it on normal. But favor gives you a few things. Favor, for every 100 favor you get DDO points, and also I hit my action boost way too late. And you also get certain rewards from favor patrons. Like, some are important, a lot more important than others. But one example is if you do House Kunderact favor, you can unlock additional bank space once you get a certain amount of favor. A lot of other favor will give you, say, like +2 to your saves. Like, for example, in Ravenloft, one of the favor rewards is +2 saves against undead. So those are the types of things you get from favor vendors. Got a cloak, electric resistance of cold absorption, which we're definitely going to equip. I think that's the first cloak we've picked up, so that's better than our Featherfall cookie, which is doing nothing for us. So we got cold absorption, and electric resistance is nice to have. 6, so that's 6 less damage we're going to take on every electric attack, which is nice because, as I said before, a lot of electric attacks in the harbor. So, all right, so we only got one quest left, guys, which is bringing the lights. Double check again, but yeah, just bringing the light is the only level 2 free-to-play quest we have left. And I should have not missed this later, but I accidentally ran past it, so that's my fault. Harbor Master's Inn here is the quest giver for the Waterworks chain, which is one of the most infamous. It's one of the more well-known free-to-play chains. in early levels in the game. So bringing the lights should be, let's see, I think it's Brother Augustus. Yeah, we got to go up and around here. And we can actually talk, let's talk to this collectible vendor. I don't know if we're, it would be kind of nice to get an augment, but I don't think we're anywhere close to an augment. And augments unfortunately require quite a bit in terms of collectibles. The potions are a lot less, but you honestly, you can just ignore, if you want to just ignore collectibles, you can. Especially if you don't care about Kenneth crafting. So how long are we, guys? We're about 2 hours and 15 minutes in. Okay, that's not too bad. Hope you guys don't mind some longer content on the YouTube channel. All right, bringing the lights. This quest, we are doing some work for a religious group, and we are destroying gambling tables because these evil people are gambling. We can't stand for it. I think it's the Silver Flame is the religious organizations. Could be wrong there. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's you see some religious themed quests like this because there's a lot of like different religions in DDO's lore and D&D lore, and it's not uncommon to do work for them as quests. Okay, pull a lever. So there's actually an interesting mechanic coming up, which I'll show you. So this guy, this guard, what he's going to do when we approach him, when he sees us, he's going to try to pull a lever and release guard dogs. So what you want to try to do is kill him before he releases it. I'm going to let him do it because I want to show you how it works. But when you're doing this quest, you want to kill him before he gets to that lever. See, watch it. He's going to see me. He's going to run after that lever. He's going to pull that lever and release these dogs. So ideally, you want to kill him before he pulls his lever so you can avoid fighting these dogs. Now, in higher difficulties, these dogs can be rough because they have a trip attack. So they can trip you and you can just die. Like you can actually, that's actually a dangerous area of this quest. But you want to kill him, but I wanted to let him there, open the gate so I could just show you the mechanic. But that's a really interesting mechanic they have in this this quest. Okay, we're almost done. Got what? 5 more gambling tables. So actually, we've got to go forward. Got to pull one more lever here. Actually didn't summon our hireling. We don't really need it. I was more having the hire. I mean, Stealthy Repo, we actually almost needed it, but it's more of a thing. I wanted to have the hireling up just to let you guys know, like, it is really important, you know, as a new player. You really should have a cleric hireling up at all times if you're soloing. Okay, a couple more. There we go. Quest is over. Okay, this quest has an optional, which we'll try to do. So these runes are different stat checks. If you can meet any of these, you can open a door here to get into an optional area. So this one requires Dex, this one requires Wisdom, and this one requires Intelligence. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do the optional because we don't have enough. But if you have one of those stats in your party, high enough Wiz, Dex, or Intelligence, you can open this door and get another chest and another optional encounter. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for the video. I'm going to create a playlist for this series so you can find all the videos in order on my YouTube home channel. If you didn't watch the first episode, you can find it there in that playlist. And next episode, if you guys, if this video gets, 1,000 or so views, if you guys are watching it and interested, I will continue the series as long as people watch. So you all, hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you for the next one, hopefully. See you all later. Take care.